This is Faith Hill with Freedom Hill Properties, and I'm going to show you how to create a mail list using a real estate auction list. This is one source that we go to create a mail list to target people who may be interested in selling land. So the first thing you'll do is, for Virginia, we do have a website. It's called taxva.com, where we can go to on a regular basis to see what auction list has been posted. So once you go to the website, taxva.com, you'll want to go to tax sale resources. And when you click on tax sale resources, it'll take you to all of the upcoming auctions recently. We typically look at the initial advertisements column because we know that usually we have a little more time to be able to send out a letter and contact those owners before the upcoming auction. Over here you'll see an upcoming auction section, and usually these are coming up pretty quickly, and usually there's not enough time to contact the buyer prior to the auction. So we look to the initial advertisements, and you'll see the most recent one here is from Floyd County, publication date February 2nd. So we'll click on this one. And you'll see here at the top, there's a paragraph including information about the date that initial proceedings will begin for this list of properties. So the initial date here is March 6, 2017. And here in the list, they provide tax number, which is I believe their number that the taxing authority consulting services uses to track this particular property. They have a column for property owners, tax map number, which is also parcel ID number, and account number. So once we have this list pulled up, we'll open up a new tab to go to agentpro247.com. And this is the program we use to access property owner information. So after you log in, you'll be taken to this main screen. And what we want to do here is we want to input the parcel ID number or any of the tax map number or property owner name. We want to input that information into Agent Pro 247 so that we can find their mailing address. So we'll take this first one here, Peter Binkley and Todd Adler. I'm going to copy and paste this tax map number. So back to Agent Pro 247, I'm going to change this tab here that says site address. I'm going to change it to APN, assessor's parcel number. And then I'm going to paste the tax map number that I copied from the earlier list. And then location, I'm going to put in Floyd County. Which is the county that we pulled up. You can see from our previous list, Floyd County. Once I've inputted that information, I'm going to hit find. And you'll see it looks like in the map we have the pinpoint of the property. And also at the bottom of the screen, you'll see there's one list, one property that came up. Owner name Peter Binkley. And I'd like to flip back to the previous screen to make sure it matches up. So here we have Peter Binkley as well. So it looks like it pulled up the correct property. Also the APNs match up. So one tip here, since this says no address, usually that means it's vacant land, raw land, which is good, which is the type of property we like to target. So we're going to click on this blue hyperlink where it says no address. I'm going to click on that. And this screen here will pop up for property reports. We want to pull the property report because it'll contain the mailing address for the owners for this property. So we'll hit OK. And so this is what the screen looks like when the property report is pulled up in the web page. We want to save the property report so we don't have to pull it again in case we need it. So we're going to click on this top link here that says convert to PDF. And it says PDF created. We're going to download it. You see on my computer when the download is complete, it pops up here at the bottom. So I like to just drag it over to my desktop so that I can change the name. So I'm going to want to change the name here to the last name of the owner, which I believe was Binkley, but let me double check here. Yes, Binkley. Okay, so I'm just going to keep that on my desktop for now. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up Dropbox so that I can drop the property report into Dropbox and we can save that for future reference. So I've set up a folder in our Dropbox called Property Reports. And have set up a folder for the county, Floyd County. And you'll see actually I already previously dropped a copy in there, but I just take it from my desktop and drop it into Dropbox so that we can save it for future reference. All right, so now that we have that property report saved, the next thing I want to do is I want to capture the mailing address of this owner so that we can contact them to see if they're interested in selling. So I have a template saved for the information we like to capture for our auction mail list. So I'll pull up that template. And you'll see here that we like to capture a lot of the same information that you'll see on the list and on the property report. So the first column here is reference number. Don't have to worry about that now. I'll fill in the reference number at the end. Next column is tax map number, which again is also the APN number. And you can copy and paste that directly from the property report, or if you want, you can go back to the tax site and copy and paste it directly from there as well, whatever is most convenient. Name, that's the property owner's name. So again, you can copy and paste it from the tax site or from the property report. You'll see that the formatting is a little different, but at this point I don't worry about formatting because I can make all of the formatting uniform at the end once I've finished populating the list. So at this point, I'm just worried about transferring over the information. So property county, we know it's Floyd County, and state we know is Virginia. So mailing address. Now this information is only on the property report. So have to go back to the property report. You'll see the first page looks like this. The mailing address usually can be found right at the top on the second page. So again, I'm going to copy and paste the mailing address from the property report into the Excel sheet. As well as the city and state, we know is Virginia. Zip code. Copy and paste that over. Next column we like to capture is property type. This information you can find on the property report. If you go down under property characteristics on the right, you'll see right there in the middle property type. So this property is agricultural rural. So we'll copy that in. The next thing we want to know is the acreage. So just above where property type was on the property report, we see that this is 25 acres. So we'll copy that information over. The next column is assessed value. So there we are looking for the tax assessed value. And in the property report, if you scroll down under assessment and tax information, we want the total assessed value. You'll see there's land value and improvement value. We're looking for the total assessed value, which is the total amount of both the land and improvement. So in here it's 71,000, so we'll copy that over. Auction date, that information we just pull straight from Tax VA. If you remember in that first paragraph, they had a date for when they begin proceedings, so that's the date that we'll use for the auction date. Additional notes, this column is if, here I like to note if the owner has multiple properties on the list, just to give us a heads up that this owner owns more than one property. So for example, you'll see G. David Scheller here. He has 2 properties on this auction list. Actually, it looks like 4 going further down. And so when we input his information here in the additional notes section, I'll just say something like multiple properties on list. So that way if he calls, we know we can ask if he's possibly interested in selling any of his other properties as well. So that's the process for how to start a mailing list using the auction lists that are posted to taxva.com. After you do the first one, it gets easier to do the next because a lot of this information, some of it is repetitive. And this process we like to use because it helps us to get a head start ahead of the competition to contact the owner who potentially may be interested in selling their land.